Alright, you bastards. Today we're going to talk about all the survival uses you can do with bubble wrap paper. Before we start, if you're interested in survival courses in Belgium, there will be a link in the description to my website, survivaltrainingbelgië.be, and also to my book called Bloody Process. So if you're interested, take a look, I would say. So, bubble wrap paper. Yeah, I would say some people I have heard that they take this with them on hikes, but in my opinion, for taking it with you, it's not really that ideal. But if you find it during a bug out or during evacuation or whatever shelter that you built, this can be found in nature because humans are trash and they leave their trash all around. So if you find this, there are survival uses you can do with it. We will go in not a certain way about talking about this, so it goes all over the place. But first of all, that I could think of this is as a insulation mat. So instead of if you find this and during wintertime in an abandoned building or construction site, or you find this in nature and you want to sleep from the ground, that your body heat will not be pulled into away from you, just a few layers of this, and this will keep you warm from sitting and also from lying when you're going to sleep. So isolation mat is already a good point. Also, to help get more insulation of your clothing. So if you're on a bug out with your bug out bag and it's colder than you anticipated, you can use this to help keeping you more warm. So you can put your clothing up, and you can take the bubble wrap and you can put it around you and put your clothing above it, so you have so extra layer of insulation that will keep the heat in. And the same thing goes for your socks, your gloves, and all that stuff. So that's something you can do. Another thing that I can think of it is if you are in a burning building and you need to jump out of the window, so to say, and you have a whole roll of bubble wrap paper, that's perhaps a way to break your fall if you have enough layers between you. It's better than nothing, I would say, but yeah, if it's your last ditch attempt, then yeah, it's something that you can do. Insulation from in your home. So if you have bubble wrap paper and it's wintertime and it's really cold and you don't have sufficient means to warm your house, or you lose too much heat to cold bridges like windows and doors, there are several things you can do this with this. You can stick this to windows that will be an extra layer between the window and the outside, that the cold will be less, heat will less likely to escape, and cold will be a little bit more harder to get in. The same thing goes for under a door. If there is under a door a little gap, you can take some bubble wrap and push it between, that cold will not get in there. The same thing goes for roofs or any other shelter that you have. Bubble wrap extra layers can be an insulation layer. So yeah, it's the same thing as the previous things, but it is more for a bug-in scenario perhaps. Protective for this can be used, of course, that is the most things that the most use that it will have, and that is protecting sensitive gear. So if you have a bug out bag with some sensitive gear like night vision goggles, radio, walkie-talkies, or whatever, something that can break if you fall with it, wrap it in bubble wrap paper, and yeah, it will be protecting. Caches, if you have a cache on your bug out route, you can wrap it in within this to have more protection against cold and against moist. So that's something that you can do for a bug out plan perhaps. Also as a cast for fractures or broken bones, if you have a wrap and you wrap enough around the arm, it will be harder to move with it, but will still be able to move a little bit. So it's a little bit of a balance between not moving and enough place to move, and it's easy to roll up without cutting into the body, because if you only have wooden planks and you wrap it around, that can be cutting into the skin and perhaps even some nerves. So with some protection of this, you also prevent cutting from the wiring that you do it to keep the broken or the fractured arm into place, or also for a leg. It's like a spalk that you use. Another thing you can do is, in case that your fridge is has broken down, and yeah, all that frozen food need to be stored for a longer time or be brought to a secondary place where it can be kept into a frozen place without thawing, just wrap it in bubble paper and the it will stay longer frozen for till you get a solution or till the electricity is back or something. Anti-stress, yeah, for especially during a survival scenario, disaster or whatever, and then you have small children or people who need something to keep their hands busy or to take the focus off, you can give them some bubble wrap paper and let them pop away. Some people find it as an anti-stress, so it can be helpful for certain persons in certain situations, and also for keeping small children busy, so to say, during certain evacuations, bug outs, or stress situations. It can prevent if you roll this up and you put it inside of your shoes when you're taking them off. There will be less likely chance that insects, bugs, rodents, snakes will get inside of your shoes during the night, and that you will not have a surprise when you put them on. So that's also something you can do. It's not that good for moisture inside of the shoe, so you need to watch out for that one. You can also use it as a privacy curtain. If you are in an evacuation center, refugee camp, or whatever, or your curtains are in the laundry and people can watch inside, you can use this as a way to get more privacy. So, yeah, if you look closely, you can see through it, but if you are further away, it's harder to see what's inside of it, and especially further away. So can also be used for that. If you are in a place like a prison camp, or if you're held hostage, kidnapped, or whatever, you need to know the time. You can count the bubble wrap bubbles and cut it off in the how much time you want to count. So, for example, you want to snip it into 30 and 31 days, and perhaps if it's a long time, 29 days pieces. And every day you like an advent calendar, you pop one, and that way you can keep track of time, days that you're somewhere. Perhaps you are in a cabin for a longer time because of a snowstorm, and you need to know how long you're in there or what day it is. With an improvised calendar in this type, you can keep track of time that way. And also as an alarm system. In two ways this can be an alarm system. If you have some shoes or a boot and you step on the edge of one of these how do you say this, these pops, bubble wraps pops, it's perhaps small, but it's something that you can hear. And second thing is, if somebody walks on top of it, it gives a very distinguished noise. So yeah, those are two noises that can be used to know that somebody, if you're in a bug out and you're in an abandoned building and you want to know that somebody is down the hall, that is an early warning system, or even though it's a small one. And even if it's not working, that the person sees there is bubble wrap paper around on the floor, yeah, it will slow them down because they will not step on it. And especially if you lay a lot of layers on top of it, they will either try to avoid it, gives you more time to escape, or they will take it. But there is no really a good way to take bubble wrap paper without making noise. I will try to remove this without trying to make a noise. Yeah, it still makes a noise. So yeah, as an early warning system, it can be, as an improvised early warning system, it can also be used. If you know any other ideas to use bubble wrap papers or survival hacks you can do with them, leave it in the comments. I'm always eager to learn new things. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and see you in the next video. Cheers!